Well, thank you for tuning in again. We're going to do a quick one, or it might be long. I don't know. However, God wants us to deal with this situation, because I am just going to play some good information for you and get right into it. Click subscribe, all that nonsense. Thank you very much. Let's go. Let's play this little clip. Now, there are millions of views just on this one clip on the Antichrist. So, man, Antichrist is on the topic of so many podcasts, YouTubes, everything right now. You know, you're watching this. This is the topic. Okay. Well, let's get more confused, right? Well, the temple is being built for the Antichrist, and the Christians are behind it. Wow! Think of that for a minute. Christians are behind building a third temple that the scriptures say nothing about. No! And that's why you turn in here, because I'm going to give you some things to think about. Now listen to this right here.
And it was then. So check this out.
Yeah, check this out.
I was watching this documentary, and I actually found it to be quite informative. And it's not a Christian documentary. It's a National Geographic documentary featuring Morgan Freeman talking about how various religious groups view God and eschatology and the Antichrist. And here, Morgan Freeman's going to have this dialogue with this Orthodox Jewish individual, and he's going to share what Jews are expecting with the coming Messiah. They have this coming Messiah. They don't believe that it's Jesus.
Now, real quick, you guys know the hype is right now. Get this third temple built, right? They got the red heifer. They haven't got it completely down to where it has no gray hair or a pink hair or any other brown it had to be red completely. So they're following legalism when sacrifices are done away in the New Testament. But let's keep playing. So the temple's being built. So you got this confusion going on.
It's Jesus right now. Yet. But they are expecting the Messianic figure. And look at what this individual says to Morgan Freeman.
What's the name?
Orthodox Jews believe that without this temple, their religious rites are incomplete. So they await the day when their temple is rebuilt.
So they're talking about here how they believe that the temple, the third temple, will be rebuilt. Okay, Jews believe that. Many Christians believe that. Let's keep watching.
Now you know what the Pope just actually was involved in, right? Look that one up. Meets with the heads of the Judaizers, I guess you would say, in Jerusalem. Okay. Meets with Islamic leaders on Mount Zion with groups from the Catholic Church on Mount Zion, and then breaking, and you can pull that up and you can look at it. I just watched the video. Up there, they didn't like what they saw, and it's all about Mother Earth Gaia. Introducing that we all have to have a Sabbath and an atonement and never drive your cars again. So man really does want to rule over you. You want to rule over others. Generally, it's all in us. Everybody wants to rule the world, man. Come on, Tears for Fears. They knew what they were saying. Everybody thinks they know better. Guess what? That's why it was written in stone not to change the law. Love your brother as yourself. Who has problems with that? There's a lot of people out here today in your government, in your school systems. This is ridiculous because it's Babylon and it means confusion, and that's what we have today. And the biggest confused people are these preachers and teachers and rabbis and all the men of cloth. Do you not understand what Jesus made real clear when at the woman at the well, and he was talking about coming there, and if you knew who I was, you'd ask me to give you drink. You don't even have a cup. Well, if you knew who I was, we know Messiah's gonna come. I'm him, Jesus said. Check it out. Now watch how this ties in going to a specific place. And many people say, I don't have to go to church to know about it. No, you don't, because you are one of the bodies. You are one of the members. You are one of the stones that make up the church in his body, and he uses his spirit to knock off all the rough edges on you so you can fit with your brother or your sister or your husband or your wife or your child. And if they're against you, that's cool. Sanballat was one of them in Nehemiah's when they were rebuilding the walls of Jerusalem. I guess Jews are racist too. Well, of course they are. They don't want their cousins, Ishmaelites, coming over and bombing them because they're worshiping Allah, the freaking moon god. Mount Zion is sin and it means the moon. God conquered that, Jehovah, the Lord, the Most High. So this spiritual darkness and Antichrist is one of the most confusing, and we've said it before. Go look at the other three. It's a spirit, and it left the church. John said they went out from us. They are Antichrist. Who is Antichrist but he that denieth that Jesus is come in the flesh? Not that they don't say Jesus didn't come as a prophet. Come in the in what flesh is Jesus coming in? What did he say in the 14th chapter? I will come and receive you unto myself, and I will live with you, and I'll bring my Father with you. Oh, there's more than one God? No. Hear, O Israel, the Lord, Yahweh, Tetragrammaton, our God, our Elohim, our gods, plural, because they're all in him, is one Lord. That's Old Testament stuff. Jesus come in the name of his Father, did he not? Yahshua. The Lord is salvation. Even the name, the four letters mean look at the hand and look at the nail. I mean, that's the grammatron, the tetragrammaton. Go look it up. Look at the hand, look at the nail. I mean, self-describing. Christ is the Messiah. You can get out of all this darkness in the world in him. You can have salvation, have peace, have understanding, and be real clear on who the Antichrist is. And 1 John tells you, it is a spirit, not a person. Never does it say that. You show it to me. You leave it in the comments. So let's keep going, because I'm going to prove to you by God himself, who played God, Mr. Morgan Freeman, and he shows you who's the Antichrist is, and we'll just leave it up to that, because they go straight to the biblical numerics. They go to the only interpretation of who, quote, the beast is. And that's where you get the country, and a beast is only a nation, and you're getting it out of Daniel. All beasts are either men or governments in the scriptures. That's the only where you'll find it. Ecclesiastes 3:18. 18th verse, you got 3 6s there. I would that thou would show all men that they themselves are beasts. And then the book of Daniel, which the Jesuit Joseph Ribera messed with the 70 weeks, and he was appointed to by the Pope to combat against him being named the Antichrist. That's what that was. And then 400 years later, you had Irving, Scotland priest. He's actually translating the Rapture teaching. And then Darby, he's the Scottish man that was also used in writing for the Schofield Bible all of this teaching of the rapture, because he believed it. That's where the foundation is. I'm not trying to argue it. I'm trying to help you and understand the hour you're in. There's a spirit, and if you can't see it on the earth today, where all people are riling up against their governments, sounds like Babylon, one world government. That's where the whole teachings come, twice on your dollar bills, all this stuff. But hey, they're still waiting for the Messiah. But I want to give you the reasoning why Jesus, what he said, and where you were supposed to be worshiping. But watch what they're doing.
Jews believe that. Many Christians believe that. Just keep watching.
Is there a Messiah
In Judaism,
in Judaism?
Jews invented the Messiah. But it's not the same Messiah that most people think about.
Okay.
Because when Christians think of the Messiah, they think of someone who's divine.
Yeah.
What we have for the Messiah is a man, a king of this earth, who's going to bring peace among the nations in this world.
And Urim tells me this mortal Messiah has a very specific to-do list.
According to Jewish tradition, he has 3 things he's supposed to do. Number 1, he's going to reconstitute the Jewish kingdom or the Jewish state. Number 2, he's going to bring peace with the neighbors. And number 3, he's going to rebuild that temple.
The temple.
Now, do you hear what they just said? He the Messiah is going to rebuild the temple. Well, what are they doing? Getting into your pocket to help them sacrifice a heifer?
Moo, I'm mooey.
That's an abomination. They're actually fulfilling what you people believe before you go flying off of here. That the man of sin would sit in the temple. So you're building a temple for Antichrist? Gotta let you go on that one, I think. But I think it might be too early because I want you to hear this.
So you heard it right there. The Jewish people are expecting that their Messianic figure is going to be a man, a king. They believe that he's going to bring world peace. They believe that he's going to bring a government. And they believe that he is going to rebuild the temple, the third temple.
Okay, so basically, you can watch the rest of it on your own. How the Antichrist will deceive the world. You can see it right there. So, how the Antichrist will deceive the world. The Antichrist is a spirit, and it has deceived the world from day one. The whole world lieth in wickedness. When you put all scriptures together, you're going to understand that you yourself are in a battle, and it's against Christ. It's a spirit. The carnal mind is enmity against the Lord, and against God, and against His Spirit. And I didn't finish it the other day, and how you know that this is a spirit. Use the Bible and stop listening to men that don't know what they're talking about 3.5 and 7 years, because that was, look, let me finish this. It says in Daniel, prophesying that his people would be in captivity, and he gave them 490 years. And then he talked about when Messiah would come, he would be cut off in the midst of the week. So how are you getting 7 years of tribulation? You know where you're getting it from? False doctrine and teaching from Jesuit Catholic Church, the original body of Antichrist. I mean, it has been known forever. Seventh-day Adventists are probably the best teachers on all of it, changing the day and the times and all that. I give them props on that. Go look at it. I got that. I can give that to them. And they're the ones that have really never accepted and broke that out. I saw this 25 years ago. Go read it again. At the end of this age or world, God would send His angels and gather the tares first and burn them. How is that a rapture? God said, and it would be as the days of Noah. The flood came. Go look it up in your Bible. Hopefully we'll put these verses up. The flood came and took them all away. So shall it be in the end of this world, meaning age. Guess what? You're at the end of the age. You're Aquarius time, baby. 67. It's the time of Aquarius.
Harmony and understanding, sympathy and trust above.
Heck yes. He's got ages, he's got times, seasons, all of it. And it's all in the heavens. So today, we are actually living to what Daniel prophesied, that knowledge would be increased. There ain't nothing that you can really find out anymore. Not now. That's what I'm saying. I get tired, like, I don't need to be doing this. There's so much information if you would spend the time on it. I just feel as a responsibility to continue to teach you and point you in directions. And let the Spirit lead you. And the Spirit is truth. And that's why nobody's going to be going over there. And there's a new Jerusalem coming down from God out of heaven. Prepared as a bride. Why don't the church talk about the New Jerusalem prepared as a bride? You're the bride. We're supposed to marry ourselves to Him. That's the whole book of the New Testament. So all of this nonsense and doctrines of men, and it needs to just be torn down. Because if men do not love truth, and if you don't love truth, as 2 Thessalonians said, God will send you a lie. You'll believe the lie, and then you're damned for it. Nobody preaches that side of God. God wants you to really know Him. Know the truth, and it will make you free, not set you. If you're set, you can be captured again. If you're made free, you're made free. And that means your own lust devices, sow into the flesh, carnal mind, all that crap that we do into our bodies. That's the warfare. We sit in the temple, 2 Thessalonians. So we go over these same verses until that's what the Bible is. One book over all these years says the same thing, but thousands of different interpretations, huh? What's that about? Seek Him. And that's what Jesus said about this worship in a certain place or not? Well, let's look at what he says. He comes to the well, John chapter 4, verse 20. And this is what she says to him, because he's asking her for a drink. Our fathers worshipped in this mountain, and you say that in Jerusalem is the place where men ought to worship. He didn't say that. She's already putting some on because she knew he was from Jerusalem. Okay? Jesus says unto her, woman. Now, this is a religious topic. That's what's on the earth today. The Davos thing. These people believe they're gods. They're the masters of the universe. Go pull up that clip and show John Kerry again. We are selected humans.
It's pretty extraordinary that we, select group of human beings, because of whatever touched us at some point in our lives, are able to sit in a room and come together and actually talk about saving the planet.
Bunch of freaks. These people are sick and they're possessed with demons from of old to try to rule and kill people. That's what the shot was all about. So we'll see how long this lasts. It's all out and open. It's all coming out. The CDC just showed nonsense, and the Washington Post said we were overplaying it. So now they're turning on each other, just like poor Mr. Biden had. The wicked destroy themselves when you're no more useful. Hello, move on to the next one. Cackling hounds and hyenas is what we got up in the stinking government today. So Jesus says unto her, woman, believe me, the hour, the last hurrah, the time. That's what he says. Same with Antichrist. Brother, you hear Antichrist is to come. Go read 1 John again. They went out from us. They were not of us. Even Satan's messengers transformed themselves as angels of light. That's what you see in your government today. We're for the people. No, you're not. The guy that played the National Hockey League, and he didn't want to get out there with his rainbow stinking thing and knock his what do you call him? What was it? The hockey stick. They're all rainbowed up, and he didn't want to go out. Guess what? All the media. What is media? Remember words. Medium is between, and when you find it in Scripture, it's between two worlds. Darkness and light. Media. And that's all this media is. Medium. Now, you can find the good, because there is. Like a carnal mind. You can get some good thoughts. You being evil know how to give good gifts to your children. Okay. So you can do good and be evil. See what I'm saying? You're supposed to just love me. No. I'm supposed to care for you and then teach you if you're headed towards a cliff or not. And that's what decisions that people have been making. And we see that for the last decade. Just a constant war. We see it in the earth. Antichrist is here. It's a spirit. But let's prove it and close this one out. Let's just let him say this to you. Now, this is from you educated people, you smart people, you all of you that really declare and like to put things on your wall that you went to a school, but you ain't, you're as dumb as a hammer still. To bring it up, the new, just to give you an idea of absolute buffoonery that's ruling over this country. The Congressman Hank, he's from Georgia. This guy's still in power, thinking that possibly those boxes that were found in the president's garage behind his Corvette there, those very well could have been planted there. Well, yeah, they could have been, but your party seems to be the only one that does that. So we're talking about good and evil, not politics. Politics means poly many and ticks, blood suckers. They suck the life out of everyone that tries to make a constant living, but because they don't want to work, they suck the blood out of you, and they suck your taxes out, and that is Mystery Babylon, mother, one harlot religion. Yes, Catholicism's at the top. They just did a thing I just told you about, smashing the 10 Commandments. This don't work for us. We're creating a new for the planet. I mean, what a bunch of nutcases. This is psychopath beyond science fiction, okay? Well, let's listen to the smart people. If you want to know who Antichrist is, let's solve it now. Okay? We're going to solve it.
About this coding, because as I understand it, the Antichrist was given a code, so they would never call his name. They would just say it by code.
Well, there has been a lot of debate about what this number, in particular 666, who it refers to. There has also been a strong argument made for 666 referring to Nero.
Nero was emperor of Rome from 54 to 68 AD, around the time when the first Christians began to
Now
arrive.
remember, this is about 20 years after the written word. And remember what's happening real quick, just to say this on your own study. They're equating Revelation the beast with 1 John the Antichrist. And just think of that and see.
To arrive in Rome. Greek and Hebrew, every letter had a corresponding number. If you add up the letters of the name for Emperor Nero, written in Hebrew, Kaiser Neron, the total comes to 666.
You come to 666.
Okay. Why do we continue every year for 2,000 to come up with more Antichrists? And you got to understand, it started with a Jesuit rabbi deflecting the Pope as being one. This is truth in history, people. I'm not trying to fight with you. You need to understand the only warfare that you have is you. Go look in the mirror and go figure out it's not your wife, your daughter, your father, your son, or your boss, nobody else, the dog, anything. You have a warfare with you and him to yield. We sit in the temple, as you guys claim, you're trying to build again over there. You're building it for your own belief system that you're going to get raptured out of here, because when the guy sits in the temple, you guys are going to be gone somehow, because we're so right. We keep things in order around, don't we? No, we're so far up. We're probably part of the problem too, because we're so carnally minded. That's the problem. We don't fast. We don't seek him. We don't spend time with him. 80% of our time is on ourselves. Like King Solomon, 13 years on his own and 7 perfection on the temple. We're coming up to that 7,000 year. You're basically there. Look at the world. Look around. The only war that you got to worry about is you. Overcome yourself like Jesus did. That's the promise. Not about getting out. He didn't get anybody out, but he saved them and brought them all through, just like the Noah's flood, just like Joseph in the dungeon, just like the 3 Hebrew children. Did he rapture them out? No, they were through the fire and it didn't touch them. We're in this realm now with Antichrist, the spirit here. And look up some of this Antichrist stuff, and you watch how confusion it is. Instead of just staying with the book, staying with the Bible. You don't need a bunch of commentaries and other books from other carnally minded men that are trying to raise up an offering to build another wing on the back and possibly be molesting kids. Oh my God. Yeah. That's why people don't dig church, because it's religion and it's confusion. And it's not true religion. Again, true religion, 2 Timothy, look it up again, read the verse. True religion is to heal the sick and to bind up the wounded and to visit the fatherless and physically be a Teresa sister, right? She was a nasty woman is what a lot of people actually said to her. But anyway, thank you for joining us. We're going to start a new deal next week, and we're going to start doing some updates on what has already been said about this. What? Yeah. So anyway, God bless you and thank you. Subscribe. See you next week.